Good morning, Facebook family and friends. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Look, I got to think about what day of the week it is, okay? So anyway, happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Wisdom Walk number 82. Wisdom Walk number 82. The odds are stacked against you. And I hate to say that, but it's such a true statement. The odds are stacked against you. And I really wish I was given all this information I was given in an earlier time in my life instead of the last 10 years or mainly in the last 5 years. But it's pretty sad. So I've made myself a commitment. I will continue educating everyone that wants to listen. I'm wearing my shirt today that says Addicted to Financial Freedom. And some people don't understand that because when you say financial freedom, they think it's about money. And financial freedom has nothing to do with money. It has partly, well, I shouldn't say nothing to do with money. It has something to do with money, but it's not all about money. It's about being able to be free, do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, be able to make decisions, be able to be your own bank, be able to spend time with your family, and not go out every day to make someone else's dreams come true. So let's talk about the odds being stacked against you. Well, the odds are stacked against all of us, and the system is rigged in pretty much everything we do, but they don't teach this information in school. So I'm going to try to educate you, not educate you, but try to educate you so you can think of a couple things. First, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax preparer. I'm not a tax professional. But I'll give you information about what I see and what I do and how things have worked out for me in my life. You can do whatever you want with this information. I'm giving you information that they don't teach in school. I'm going to give you information that most people won't tell you about. But because the system is stacked against you, and they do this information so they can continue getting wealthy. The system can continue working, and they use our hard-earned money and our hard-earned time to continue the system working. So, for example, one of them is people like Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase. You've heard me say his name before. Makes $35 million a year. Plus stock options, and he makes that because of the system that's stacked against you and how we borrow money. And I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later on in this. You also have a system that the American people go to work every day and you pay into these taxes. So let's say you make 10 grand a month and the government takes how much ever for state, federal, whatever, and they take all that money, and at the end of the year, you get to actually it's kind of funny when you think about it. You make money, you pay taxes on that money, then when you go spend that money, you got to pay taxes on the money you spend. See how the system is rigged against you? It's completely rigged against you. It's pretty funny when you think about it. But anyway, so you have this income. Let's say you make 10 grand a month and your state and federal taxes, Social Security, all FICA, whatever, all that stuff comes out, and you end up taking home 7. And then at the end of the year, you're going to do your taxes and you'll get a refund of whatever. I don't know, 10 grand, 20 grand. I don't know what the refund is. Personally, I haven't had a refund in taxes in 30 years. I don't do refund in taxes. Because why would I want to give the government my money interest-free so they can use it and make more money on my money and give me back my money after they use my money? So that's like me telling you, tell you what, every single month I want you to pay me 2 grand. Then at the end of 12 months, I'll give you back your $24,000. Would you do that? Well, Don't think you will, but that's what everybody does in the tax scenario. So you're giving their money. They're taking these billions and billions of dollars, investing it, making money, and then turning around and giving you back a percentage of the money you gave them. Yeah, pretty insane, pretty silly. So again, I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice, but I am addicted to financial freedom. So what I do in that case is I make sure that if I had a job, or when I had a job back in the day, I would make sure my employer gives me the maximum amount of deductions that I can take so I can bring home the maximum amount of money every single 2 weeks. Now, you have to be disciplined because you can't go below that money if you end up owing taxes at the end. But you can use that money to make money, or in another case, use that money to pay off debt. And a lot of people misunderstand when I talk about paying off debt, because they're like, man, my house is like $500,000. My little paycheck will never pay off all that debt. You're misunderstanding. And the system is rigged against you. So they want you to believe that. Jamie Dimon wants you to think, oh my goodness, I can never pay off that $500,000 loan. Because first of all, I signed a 30-year loan, and with my paycheck, coming up with 500 grand to pay it off is impossible. And that's exactly what they want you to think, because the system is rigged and it's against you. But let me give you a logic of that. So yes, you have a $500,000 loan. And yes, your paycheck is not going to be able to pay that off right away. But here's the scenario. If you got a 3% rate or 6% rate on that $500,000 loan, let's call it 6%. 6% times 500 grand is 30,000. You're not paying 30,000, because if you multiply your payment by the next 30 years, I guarantee you your payment total will be about 1.2 million. So that's about $700,000 in interest. So that $700,000 in interest is a bigger number than what you borrowed. Well, welcome to how they rip you off. Welcome to how the bank cartels take advantage of you. And that $720,000, or that $700,000, is what goes in to Jamie Dimon's pocket, or the board of Chase Bank, or whatever bank you're using. So what my recommendation to you is you take those funds. Now, some of you won't understand this because you don't know what I know in my brain, and you haven't seen it work, and it's very difficult for you to do this on your own. But there's some technology, call it MMA, which is what I use to do all this, and it works flawlessly because it's about $19 million for that technology. I paid them $3,500 for it, and so far to date, I've saved $60,000 in interest. So would I pay $3,500 to save $60,000 all day long, every day? So let's go back to our scenario. So you have the $700,000 that you owe, and now we're talking about taxes. So instead of you having the government take out all that extra money in taxes, you talk to your employer, you get your employer to raise the amount of deductible defendants you have, and now let's say you bring home an extra 1,000, you bring home an extra 2,000, you bring home an extra 500. You take that money, use the software that I found, that I use, and that software will tell you to put that money onto one of your bills. Now, those bills have interest. So this is where most people misunderstand. They go buy a car, or they buy a house, or they go buy that item on sale on their credit card, and the credit card interest rate is 20 something percent, but it's really over 300% because it takes 25 to 30 years to pay off a credit card at minimum rate. So that $500 item that you borrowed on your credit card, should you pay the minimum interest rate or the minimum payment, that $500 item is going to cost you $1,800. So if you think you bought it on sale and you're using a credit card, no, you didn't. So now you can take these funds from your taxes that the government was using your money against you to use it for you. So now you start knocking down that debt. Now that $500,000 mortgage balance, we're not going to knock down the $500,000 mortgage balance overnight. But what we're going to do is we're going to knock down the interest overnight. So by the end of you using this technology, instead of paying the government, I'm paying Jamie Dimon $700,000 in interest, you may end up paying only $300,000 in interest or $200,000 in interest. That's a $500,000 savings. That's a $400,000 savings. That $500,000 is money in your pocket. So I don't understand why people can't see that simple math. That is mandatory that you do this. If you want to be look, I'm addicted to financial freedom. You want to be financial free? That's the first thing you got to attack. Instead of you thinking, I want to be debt free, first thing you need to attack is paying off all that interest. You got to pay that interest down. And there's ways to do that. Many, many ways to do that. And that technology I told you about, the MMA, it teaches you how to do it. Very, very simple. Click and paste, okay? So now we're covering the situation where now you're paying off that debt. Well, let me give you the math. The math on it is if you follow the technology and you add the tax situation I just told you about to your MMA, most of you, instead of a 30-year debt-free payoff on your mortgage, you'll be done in about 3 to 4 years. Normally it's about 5 to 7, but if I add the tax in there, it drops it down to about 3 or 4. So now in 3 to 4 years, you're now debt-free. Debt-free, done, finished. So let's say you continue on with your life, you continue working, you continue doing all what you're doing. So let's say now you have $5,000 a month that you used to have going out. So now you have $5,000 a month going out. You're now debt-free 3 to 4 years from now because you listened, because you paid attention, because your life has changed. And now you're cutting out everybody when you do things like that. You're cutting out Jamie Dimon. You're cutting out all the CEOs for all the banks. You're cutting out all the credit card companies. You're cutting off all those people. You're taking money now out of your pocket, which is a beautiful thing. So now that you have done that, now you're debt-free 3 to 4 years from now. So now you got $5,000 coming in. So what do we do? First of all, I never told you to change your lifestyle. Keep doing what you're doing. I keep doing what I'm doing. I enjoy doing the things I do. I never told you to go eat rice and beans all day long to pay off your debt, to be debt-free. I want you to live your life in abundance. That's what God wanted us to do, live a life in abundance. So I live my life in abundance. So once that 3 to 4 years is done, and now you have $5,000 a month, even before that, we're going to start off slowly with something called an IUL. An IUL is the biggest kept secret in the planet. But again, the odds are stacked against us, so let me tell you how they stack the odds against us. First, they tell you on your job to do a 401k. Biggest garbage in the world. If you are doing a 401k, run fast. 401k is garbage. Again, that's the same situation that the banks are doing to you on your loans. 401ks are garbage. Okay? So instead of doing your 401k, I want you to do an IUL. IUL is the best kept secret in the world. Should you follow the plan for the IUL, in a very short period of time, you'll become your own bank. Not only would you become your own bank, but because of the financial situation that you're in right now, that we're all in, that we have been, because the odds are stacked against us and nobody teaches us this stuff, your children will follow in your footsteps. But by breaking the shackles of what people do to us, and we're going to teach our children what I'm teaching you right now. So if they're 5 years old, 7 years old, grandkids, whatever you have, 10 years old, 12 years old, we're going to put them in IULs also right now. So by the time they hit 16, 17, ready to purchase their first car, they're not going to go to Jamie Dimon for him to be stacked against them, for them to pay him a tremendous amount of interest for it. They're going to go to their IUL and they're going to borrow the money from themselves, and they're going to pay themselves back their interest rate. Think about it. Do you want to pay Jamie Dimon the interest rate, or do you want to pay yourself back the interest rate? I think that's a no-brainer. Do you want to borrow your own money from your own bank yourself, or do you want to borrow from another bank so you can make them rich? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not rocket science. If you don't understand this, if you're not doing this, the odds are stacked against you, and you will never get to the finish line. You will die in debt, like 95% of this world die in debt, because that's just how it is. So I can show you how to fix all that. And by the way, I do this information for free. I'm not charging you. I'm not asking you for anything. I don't ask you to send me any money. I don't want anything from you at all. I just want you to go live your best life. Well, I'll take that back. I'm sorry. I told the untruth. I do want something from you. When you do this and you become stinking rich, which you will, and you don't have any debt, I'm going to ask you to go take a percentage of what I've taught you to make, and you go give it back to your community. Go feed the homeless. Go give it to people in Walmart. Walk around, do something called a GOLO. Gift one, lift one. Pass out $100 bills. Do that anonymously. You don't have to tell them who you are, what your name is. Just do it. Just do it in the sake of God's name. Just go out and hand money out to people because you've been blessed. So that's what I want you to do. Don't come hand me none. I don't need none of your money. I don't want none of your money. Don't give me nothing. But go bless your community. And that's what you can do. That's the biggest favor you can do for me. Okay? So now we have this IUL rocking. Now, you can borrow on that IUL anytime you want. Now, I'm a little bit older, so I kind of mix my IUL with something called Whole Life. Whole Life is not as important. And again, I am not a financial advisor. Let me go back on again. I'm just telling you what I do. Whole Life is not as important, or not, I shouldn't say not as important. Doesn't give you as big of a return as an IUL does. But it allows me to have a pretty large death benefit right away. So my family's protected, overly protected. I want them overly insured. Should something happen to me today, I want the Queen and my children and my grandkids to be set for life. So I pop in my Whole Life. I put in a pretty decent amount in there, and then every month I withdraw from my bank, because my Whole Life is my bank. And then I take that withdrawal and I throw it into an IUL for long-term growth, which gives me a death benefit. And guess what? Let me knock on some wood. Oh, let me find some wood to knock on. Knock on some wood. Should something happen to me, should I get cancer, should something happen where I can't perform 2 out of 6 daily activities that a human being needs to do, the Whole Life or the IUL going to cut me a check right then and there. Bam! I don't have to worry about health care. Don't have to worry about anything. I'm protected. Should I see my demise and go meet my maker, my children, grandchildren, my Queen are taken care of. Why in the world would I not want to do anything I just said to you? That's insane, but they don't teach this. Nobody teaches this stuff. They don't talk about this stuff in school. What they'll talk about when you go get that job, do you want to sign up for a 401k program? Yeah, because the employer benefits, the banks benefit, the stock market benefits, and you get nothing. Because, well, look, I shouldn't say you get nothing. Go take a look at your 401k for the last 8, 10, 15 years and tell me what type of return you got in there. Peanuts. Peanuts. So anyway, so back to our situation that everything is stacked against us. So all this information is stacked against us so the wealthy can continue to become wealthy. Well, it's time for you to take it back. It's time for you to understand. It's time for you to not educate, but edumacate yourself to understand that life can be absolutely beautiful if you know how to play the game. They're not going to stack things against me. I'm going to stack things against them. So the beautiful part about what I do is I'm doing the same stuff they're doing, but instead of them doing it to me, I'm doing it to them. Because the stuff that I'm doing is not new. It's not anything secret. It's just what they do, but they don't tell you what they do. So when I found out what they do to me, I just flip the script and do it to them. And then I put myself in a position where I'm financially secure or I'm addicted to financial freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, not rocket science. Not rocket science at all. This stuff is so simple. This is stuff I teach in Envy, and I teach it for free. No big deal. Good morning. How are you? Hey, little guy. And you go on and you live your life because the odds are stacked against you. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and you go do whatever you have to do to get ready for work, and there's nothing wrong with a job. Some people are disrespectful and say job is just over broke or jerked out of bread. Jerked out of bread. Well, yeah, he jerked out of bread too, but jerked out of bed. I understand, but I'm not going to be disrespectful and say that to you. If you have a job, great. It's a great place to start. It pays your bills. It does whatever. But just remember, when you get up in the morning and you go to that job, the majority of the money you're making is to go pay the man. You go pay your taxes. Look at this. You wake up in the morning, get on the freeway, get on the subway, do all the stuff you have to do so you can go pay the government your hard-earned money so they can go make money on your money for the full 12 months and then give you back pennies on your money after after the 12 months is up. And after they tax you on the money you make, they're going to tax you again on the money that you spend that they left you after they took the money out of your paycheck. Does that sound like a plan to you? And not on top, talk about stacked against you. The employer that you're going to make his or her dreams come true. Because they're the one with the entrepreneurial idea. And now they have all these employees in there busting their butt every day to make their dreams come true. Does that sound right to you? If you look, sometimes I wish you guys could live in my brain for just like one day. Just come live in my brain for one day. Oh, wait a minute. You can live in my brain for one day. In fact, you can live in my brain for the rest of your life. Because I do these meetings every Saturday morning where I talk about stuff like this. And I have a Facebook page that goes over all the stuff like this. So you can educate yourself, not educate, but educate yourself on the things that you need to do to change your life forever. Or you can keep scrolling, not listen to anything I have to say, and keep doing what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 60 years old, it ain't too late. It don't matter. The younger you are, the better it's going to be. But you don't have to be. Look, you can start at 60 and still be in a better position. Now, it's not as great a position if you were at 40, but this stuff is so easy. This stuff is so simple. This stuff is so rewarding. This stuff is so amazing. And it just keeps you from everything being stacked against you. Why would you want everything stacked against you? Use that. Sorry about that. I guess got a good little drop zone anyway. So back to things being stacked against you. So you get to make a decision. You could ignore everything I just said, or you can start taking action. Up to you. If you want to take action and you want to be in my brain for the rest of your life, you simply go to my website and check out what I have to say. I'm not going to charge you. Like I told you, there's a cost, but I'm not going to charge you. The cost is that you give away to others and bless other people and pay it forward. That's the cost to be part of it. But up to you, make your own decision. So I was saying that the neighbor is going to have, if a house is built next to them, they're going to lose their view. And only trees make me lose mine. So partially in the backyard, those trees are blocking part of my view. Them trees are coming down. Trust me. In the next week, they're going to be gone. So anyway, love you all. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. Wisdom Walk number 92. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, or rest of your week. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, before I go, let's look at the babies. Hey, guys. Are you guys hungry? You guys eat way too much. Okay, let me feed them so you guys can see me feed them. They eat way too much. You know what they need to do? They need a job so they can pay for their own food. I think I'm going to go to one of them websites and see if I can apply for them to get a job, because this is ridiculous. Okay, guys, here you go. Come on. There you go. You guys are so greedy. But I love petting you, though. There you go. So, anyway, have a great rest of your day. Love you all. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.